Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8,
feels good to get
and
that
this
one
is
out my chest.
Let's Play
I was a little
The
afraid
Letter,
you'd be angrier.
Part
I didn't tell
8.
you earlier than today.
And I actually cooked something. I got a folding chair here with a skillet on it, and what I did is open a can of chicken, and usually if I cook something, I'll make something based on somebody else's preferences, if they're there, but if I'm cooking for myself, sometimes I'll make new decisions on how to mix certain ingredients, just because I like to try something different, so I can see how it tastes or not. But what I did is I decided to take a can of shredded chicken, some butter, some provolone, some sweet red pepper sauce. I sliced up some banana peppers, and I also had a bag that had some Lay's Game Day chili flavored chips. I mashed those up and then poured that into it and cooked it all in a skillet together. So I made myself a very interesting skillet sensation. I think it's pretty good.
I'm not angry. I'm
Am I
just
recording this?
surprised.
I know I'm constantly checking that. I need to stop that. I need to just
I suppose
stop
that's how it
worrying
often
about that.
is, isn't it? We all have our, what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons?
Yep, I think that works.
This is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Something passes in her face, brief, fleeting, and disappearing right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine. Look, about last night, never mind. This isn't a good time. But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
I should be relieved. Her words are more reassuring to my ears. There should be comfort in hearing that alone, and knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever go bad. And somehow I find myself worrying more for her instead. I'll make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. This is a dance that I know all too well with her. I doubt forcing her to say something will yield any results. As much as I want to imitate Ash, there's only so much I can ask that won't result in something a little overcast and disastrous. At best, she'll stop talking to me until a week passes. At worst, I'd rather not risk it. I'd never seen her angry. Outright annoyed maybe, but often directed at Ash, but never furious. What do they say about the happiest people when angered? Besides, it'd be unfair to her after that little chat.
So, food then?
She seemed relieved at the brisk change of subject, and as if it had simply been waiting for its cue all this time, her stomach rumbles at the mention of food, or rather loudly as it mattered.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now. Better be quick, though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me. I'm not that hungry. Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry, it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks. I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
I don't think I actually know anything about the Filipino culture. Or, well, I'm always trying to learn about everyone's culture, so whatever culture you are, share with me. I want to know more about you. Soft laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. Neither? The answer is neither. Because if she stays idle, she'll...
On second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm about? I'll have you know, I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
I don't know. I like to cook hash browns sometimes. So add onions
Sure
to it.
you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Are we gonna turn and see the girl from The Grudge just sitting there eating the hash browns with us? Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Between us, the consistent clapping of the knife against the board and the muffled noise from the television, I left running. Words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual, we've had moments like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else would come knocking the door, probably Ash in a second. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That has always been Isabella or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash, although most coming from him border on awkward or embarrassing. Speaking of that guy, he never did call back, and I'm willing to bet my entire fearless Howie that he fell right back to sleep after that call.
Sorry, Bella. Could you...
Yep, I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down. Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Ash has already welcomed himself in and take my eyes away from the oven. He's never been really keen with the notion of courtesies after he's warmed up to this guy. All 13 of my locks, he broke and attested that. Dude, he's a good fellow though. Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy.
Don't you have work today?
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Z-Man.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Put on auto.
Sorry, I got caught up with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else. Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
Wait, we're going now?
Begins ushering out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me at this pass. Isabel, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they can even cross her, she puts a firm foot down, force low enough to halt them and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabel giving an indignant pout over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once, two things that are rarely ever grace it if he can help it. A rare moment even for our small group. If only I had my camera with me. Dang.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
But the food! It's Zach's cooking! Real delicious food that actually tastes like food. At least stay and have a bite, please. Zach, help me here!
These two, whenever they are in the same room, sometimes it feels like I'm hurting a group of unruly kids instead of talking to mature adults. One moment they're engaged in pleasant chit-chat, and the next they're bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better, I would have overacted measure. I'd say there's something going on. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Or it might just be me reading too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash's laughter by so much as suggest such. Oh, we got a point to save. Save. Come on.
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a waste.
Did auto turn off? I think it probably did.
Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it, too.
I don't know, I always like making hash browns more than scalloped potatoes. The salty tang and the melted cheese.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything. Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up. Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
You know? Achievement, hearty meal. We eventually settle down, the food is been served. The jibes replaced with one another friendly chatter, mostly about the news the night before. There is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently on the headlines. Understandable. Food looks good. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food and polite company. This case in particular. The wounds are too fresh, too soon. Yeah, I mean, she just died. Violently, I might add! I like to avoid the position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like this. Gruesome? Understatement. Though perhaps the closest we can go to a broach to the topic, so the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then, we are careful, Ash and I. We keep the conversation light, avoid bringing up the late business partner. At least we do. But I think Ash and
Right?
Becca...
Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned. It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
But yeah,
Now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry. I was a
But
little
I
out
think-
of it yesterday.
I
Was
think...
it the photo shoot?
Okay, so he hasn't been to that photo shoot yet.
It's actually for the one you sold. Ermite, something. When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents right.
But yeah, I think Ash and Becca are the only ones who haven't
They're more
seen
influential than I
the
initially
ghost.
thought. And I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself. Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but
but it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
Why were you not against saying fishy? I don't understand why that's a slip of the tongue. What's wrong with fish? What's wrong with fish?
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all.
What?
As much as I want to comment on it,
What's
I only
wrong
know
with
what's on the
fish?
surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office. If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
She just referred to Rose as if she was
Guess that
still
makes a lot
alive.
of sense.
But I
Officially
understand
off our
it's
instant
something
noodle diet,
really
aren't
to... It's an
Ash,
adjustment.
Has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
What? How did you... Oh, come on, Zach.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
A one-time thing. And it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Hey, that was an accident.
You were making a salad, Ash.
How
Please move on to a different topic.
did you start a fire? But what's wrong with fish? Like, he started to say it was fishy, and then he changed his, like, what is wrong with fish?
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach. I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys tossed over. But he doesn't give her an answer and waves for her to go ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you. See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
Trepidation. What are you worried about, buddy? Were you having a meeting about the Rose murder?
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple. I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just...
Well, I mean,
have to take
Hannah
your word
seems
for it.
okay, except for the ghost possessing her now. So yeah, maybe less than okay. What's her definition of okay? Not being possessed by a ghost? So she's not okay. But I'm pretty sure Luke is probably in a criminal enterprise. And Hannah, of course, doesn't know that shit. But if she really is looking at the finances, shouldn't she notice that, hey, something's not on the up and up?
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell. Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
And like I said, if you guys like each other, just tell each other. Oh. A mild draft sweeps into the room as I close the door behind him. Slightly disturbing, a lone note flutters my feet. Oh yeah, it's probably going to be the help me note. Emergon Mansion, H-Rite, 11 a.m. for luxury living? After Ashton's warnings, they all hold a different meaning now. What? I'm confused. Okay, the next 2 days rush by in a blur after leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up in the new expected acquaintances or friends. That's how you look at it. Is this recording? Yes. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos for at least 3 in the morning. Reach new deadline. Auto. Food is pretty good. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good, has vision, and knows what he wants. But damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There's nothing new in it, of course. After years of work... Oh! I bet he's going to see the ghost in the pictures. He's probably going to see pictures of... Because there's always that idea that electronics can do better at picking up the supernatural than a person can. And I mean, it would make sense. I mean, there's so many parts of the light spectrum that humans can't see. And sounds we can't hear, but that animals can see. I think there's a type of lobster or something that can see like 24 something range of color, with humans see like a certain range. Like, it's hard to describe, but it'd be odd to like how that color would be represented to a human. Not to hear about them. Local news channel, say the name. A party here, an acquisition there. Sometimes it's a new business venture. Other times it's the everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working with such a high-profile couple. And between that and the fuss that comes with it, it leaves me no time to ponder over whatever happened to Isabella or why Ash is so adamant. I assume Luke is a criminal.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
And possibly fucking that one girl. And the ghost possessions. Might worse than a business scandal. Whatever the illegal stuff Luke's doing. Maybe he's selling like cocaine. Much is definitely left to be said about the husband. But I doubt a woman like Mrs. Wright could pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Hannah herself, though, I think she picked him based on just being charismatic. She ain't particularly bad the way the press makes her out to be. She does have a 10 out of 10 body, though. The tabloids had her wrong, that's for sure. She is very sexy. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. She is very, very attractive. One of the things, the newfound friendship is what I least expected from her, but here we are. Although with a life is public, no wonder the woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. Honestly, I'd say that's probably the perfect body type right there. I mean, she is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabel too. They weren't living worlds apart. Are we going to see a picture like with the ghost in the background? Probably. The beep quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel any further. But I think wet print I'm holding a dying rack, makeshift dark room, water bath. Kind of reminds me of Adam from the original Saw movie. Inside the converted broom causing the film processor lets out another soft clack before it suddenly goes blind to sound. I think Ash and Becca are the only people who have not seen the ghost, who does not have a name. If she does, I don't remember it. It's the last one tonight. We're going to see a ghost in the picture. I don't usually make this a habit, giving stuff away, that is. It's bad for the business, no matter how well-intentioned or generous you are. This exception, however, she did treat me well and was pleasant company all throughout the shoot. Even if she didn't ask, I would probably have given her a few prints for the hell of it. Mrs. Wright ain't such a bad subject of matter to begin with. Maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything in the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, plenty of big mansion to call home, she's lonely. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles. Always hidden behind the glamour for the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these helps. A little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on our tray, holding a decent amount of photo flow. A few seconds later on the solution, it's all it needs for it ready for dyeing. No good rushing this last one, even if my body's already screaming for some decent snooze. My hand fumbles for the light switch, moving toward it with familiarity, while I fish for a squeegee among the mess of tools in a drawer with the other. The bulb flickers twice before it glows, settles, and casts a soft light in the tiny space. When I glance back down, squeegee in hand to finish the process, call it a night. We see a ghost in a picture.
What on earth?
Ghost in a picture. Holy shit! Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The area completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the sweet smile the good woman carried in all the previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
Common mistake to make, of course, is one is negligent enough to pick a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. Or that's the moment she got possessed. It has happened before, loads of times actually. What, her getting possessed? You taking pictures of people getting possessed? But I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. It's not a mistake. With a sigh, I reach up for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
It is. Now just memory clicks, a cursory thought in the sea of many, and a short yet distinct. Yeah, you literally watched the ghost strangling her from behind. You literally saw that. How do you not There was more than a shadow. What am I doing? In her 20s, what am I supposed to be doing here? Am I supposed to be doing something? Because anytime something like this happens, I feel like it's asking me to do something. Whatever it's asking, I'm... Bony hands grip Mrs. Wright like a noose, straining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Yeah, you took a picture of the very moment she got possessed. Nothing but malice was... Not for me, but for Mrs. Wright.
Zach, is something the matter?
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Memory alone is enough to make me retch. I brushed it off then. How? A trick of the eye, I told myself? Or a product of the heat? That's... The weather has been unexpectedly warm lately. No surprising such things to happen. That's not how that works. And well, blaming this on the usual fatigue and overworked brain, the weather or an amateur error on my part is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense when the small voice inside my head whispers. The same tiny voice only makes itself known when something's afoul, the same one that lent a curious ear to Isabel's worries about the mansion. And with each second I spent staring at this photograph, the murmurs in my head only grow louder against my ears. Oh! Okay, this is an interesting choice. I will show the photo to Hannah. I don't have an explanation for what I saw yesterday. Yet, when you've been there, seen something enough to raise the hairs at the back of your neck or leave you wanting to flee or hide, finding a more solid proof that a person's smudged off face on a photo is the least of my concerns. Ash will undoubtedly give me flack for saying that, or even considering Isabella's words and those silly tales about the place. The guy is a skeptic through and through. I'm waiting for Ash sees stuff, like what his reaction will be. Take more of my account to give him even a kiss. It's a single thought. However, more than his opinion is Mrs. Wright I'm concerned about. Surely she must have felt something that those shows on TV are to believe. A touch of coldness in her neck. Maybe the feeling of being watched? That's what often happens, ain't it? Anyone out there who has experienced anything supernatural, feel free to comment down below. You've still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough time to mull over how I'll go about warning her. Plenty of space to check to see if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. The film processor hums back to life. The light switch gives out a soft click. The darkness embraces the small closet again.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
In hindsight, this is a dumb idea. That is to say, rushing to a client I barely know's home first thing in the morning, news of a ghost lady potentially haunting their new bodily property. Oh, and there's a bunch of bizarre-looking pictures of Miss Hannah I brought as proof. Too, yeah, you know, dumbest idea in history of my dumb ideas, all things considered. Traveling the outskirts of Ansel Village at the crack of dawn, with only my bike as company, equally so. Personally, I don't think any of them would take whatever I'm going to say, well, no matter how nice or accommodating they are. Ash himself would tell me the same thing. Odds are he'll laugh at me in my face for good measure, if he doesn't freak out at me first for not listening to his warnings. Still, that's a whole separate can of worms, open at a different time, seeing as I'm already standing in the Wright's front porch, waiting for someone to answer the door. They're all dead. More than anything, Mrs. Wright needs to know that there's possibly nothing safe in this place, and warnings from friends be damned.
If only someone would answer the door sooner. Come on.
They're all dead. Try to ignore their looming presence. Their large ornate doors gives off as I press the doorbell. For the 4th time. Its shrill ringing merely echoes, carried off by another warm passing breeze. The first time I came to this place, I found myself basking in the silence it offers. Now the atmosphere is just heavy, packed with trepidation and tension. Isabel is right, it does radiate that kind of creepy kind of vibe. And with the image from the day before constantly flashing in my mind, the unease becomes harder to ignore as each seconds drift by. Not wanting to spend more time here than necessary, I ring the bell again. Another long second ticks by without anyone answering the door. If this fails, I can always go to Ash. Not really the most sensible course of action either, but waiting here ain't doing me any good. For all I know, the Wrights could be out of town, or dead. As luck would have it, just as I'm about to turn my heel, a loud thump rises from the other side. It's followed by heavy footfalls, and a string of very colorful expletives about one's parentage. Oh no. No, right, Luke's a racist.
Bloody annoying doorbell replaced yesterday. That Ironstone has cost me a fortune and she can't even fix this music. And where the hell is... Your eyes, if another po-faced prat is pressing that blighted bell, I swear I'll cut their...
Po-faced? What does that even mean? Is that a word for policeman? Well, hi, Mr. Racist.
And who might you be? I don't recall asking the movers to show up this early.
Is Johans dead? Did the possessed person kill the butler? But Mr. Wright, I don't quite know what to make of him yet. I only caught sight of him yesterday, and he's directing the movers. Although from how exasperated he sounded then, it seems like more yelling was done than actual giving orders. Directions. Needless to say, I like to believe those incidents ain't all there is to... It is all there is. Mr. Wright, at the end of the day, did marry him. Standing before him like now, though, is a different story altogether. Despite the difference in our respective heights, he managed to make it appear like he is the one looking down on me, not the other way around. Snooty bastard. An apology instinctively before his mouth before anything else, and he arches an eyebrow at my lack of response.
Well, that's not exactly why I'm here. Mr. Wright, yeah?
Right, of course, the one and only. And what can I do for you this fine morning? Have I seen you somewhere before? Bloody you peasants all look the same to me.
Yeah, I'm actually...
It doesn't matter, I don't care. I've got someplace important to be at today. Just spit out what you want or be gone. I haven't got all day.
What's the point of having such a big-ass house if you're not going to spend time in it? You're not really going to... Like, what's the point of having all that space? Disconcerting how a simple conversation can easily seem like a ruthless form of social maneuvering. I can see why Mrs. Wright would want to steer clear of it, if only for a short while. Choices that go badly. I'm a photographer.
I'm in luxury living, sir.
Mr. Steele.
Just Zach would do, sir.
I can see why. You should hear what they say about my name. Although I'm of the opinion those don't sound as unpleasant as yours to the ear. Amusing what people can come up with in their leisure time, no?
Was that a
Well,
racist
then,
joke?
To what reason do we owe this second visit, Zach?
Right, like I said earlier, I'm the photographer from Luxury Living. I'm here about the photo shoot yesterday, and
His eyes narrow at that, mouth tightening into a small frown, passive stand. He still thinks you're trying to sleep with his wife. Which honestly, ain't a complete lie about what I came here for. But ain't the whole truth either.
Didn't you already wrap that one up? I believe my wife was the one with you then. You even mentioned a little tete-a-tete with the photographer. That was you, wasn't it?
yes. Actually, sir, there was something I forgot to discuss with your...
And you had to show up at such an hour for something you forgot. Why wasn't there any notice about this little visit?
It was an error on my part, sir. I do apologize for not letting you know in advance.
Terribly unprofessional for someone going under the name of an esteemed publication like Luxury Living, if you ask me. Of course, even if there was a word of some sort, that butler does not check my emails as often as I would have liked. But straight up walking in here this early isn't the most sensible thing to do either.
The matter was a bit urgent, and my art director wanted it done as soon as possible before I hand him the finished prints.
Not my problem now, is it? A common courtesy would be to wait for replies before barging in. You do well to remember that. I once fired someone before they could even submit an application. Sent an email in the morning and suddenly sauntered in the office looking knackered mere hours after. Bloody Watkins. That aside, unfortunately you're going to have to come back some other day. You see, darling wife left not a moment to go. I have not an inkling where she went, or when she'll be back, so you're better off.
Love, is it the movers?
He stops speaking altogether, and the complacent expression he has collapses on itself. Slowly he turns to his wife, walks with a step too lively for comfort, a smile too sweet to be honest. She's very likely heard everything her husband and I have talked about.
Going off somewhere.
I've got the few things I want them to transfer already. Marianne made this splendid arrangement for the music room and... Love, are you listening?
I thought you already left, Buttercup.
She musters a frown, a pout more like. The mischievous gleam in her eye when she glances at me says they're all there is I need to know. I would have laughed at her antics if it wouldn't offend the other man. But as it is, it's better to let his wife have her fun without any reaction from me. I'm treading on dangerous grounds with him already.
Well, I most certainly have not left yet. I wouldn't be standing here if I did, would I?
Of course you wouldn't be, darling. But don't you need to be somewhere else today? Something with Marianne? Shopping, girl, things?
Oh, I'll be leaving in a few. Unless you want to join us.
No thanks, darling. I'm afraid my liver... Oh, it's killing me today. Ooh!
What the fuck is wrong
I thought
with
as
you?
much. You needn't have to worry. I'll be gone in a few. It's just that I heard we have a visitor. What kind of person would I be if I didn't greet him before leaving?
The butler's dead. He's in
A very
he's
gracious
in
one, I'm sure.
your cellar and he's dead.
Zachary, right? Zach? It's a pleasure to see you again.
Likewise, ma'am. I was actually looking for you.
Is that so? What for?
A huge display of unprofessionalism is what it's for.
Shush, darling. Let the man speak. I'm sure it isn't anything like that if he has to come all the way here, yes?
It's about yesterday. The photos you asked, I mean. The copies are ready, but...
Yeah, this is uncomfortable, yeah. Unlike the first, this one is meant to appease.
Love, I think Hansi might need some of your input for the final guest list. Could you check on him, please?
He's dead!
Why in all Luxborn do I have to be there? Doing tedious jobs are what he's being paid for.
Because if we end up with people whose faces you do not want to show up in our housewarming party, we won't be hearing the end of it. Unless a heavy dose of liquor's involved. You know what the doctor said about that. Please do poor Hansi and your liver a favor,
He can handle that on his own, Buttercup. And my liver is doing just fine.
You were just bitching about
Sure
it.
it is. But I don't know, love. I think I caught a glimpse of the name Mitch Lakes, was it? I think it was Mitch Lakes on it when I checked with Hansi earlier. You should see for yourself. It was quite a list.
Who put that blighted twat in there?
And that's why I'm asking you to look over it before I do so tonight.
Very well.
Moving at that process, he doesn't appear ready to leave. Sort of passing through their doors, he stops and glances back again, all without bothering to hide the distrust in his eyes. But yeah, was Mr. Steele a racist
Dear, I'll
joke?
be fine. Go back to your butler. I'm not some pregnant wife you have to worry about.
Fine. I have to go to that little ankle biter's career day later anyway. I don't see why I have to go there. Kylie's your goddaughter.
And yet, she has you around her little fingers, darling. That's basically the same thing.
I'm so confused. If he ever has an answer to that, we don't get to hear it from above the heavy thud of the door. And Mrs. Wright's own very weary exhale after she's sure her husband is out of earshot. She's nothing but apologetic when she fixes her gaze back on him. I can't help but return the same to her.
I am so sorry you had to deal with that. My husband can be a bit trying when he really applied himself.
It's fine, Miss Wright. No harm done. It was my fault for showing up here unannounced. And this might be strange coming from me, but he does have the right to be wary. The press can be quite vicious when it wants to be.
Caught unexpectedly, they'll pick you apart. It's not surprising why he acted the way he did around me.
Sweetie, if Luke treats every journalist who shows up here like that, I'm afraid we'll end up with a harassment lawsuit hanging over our heads sometime in the future. Vicious or not, some sort of finesse has to be exercised when dealing with them. I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't too offensive.
Not at all, Miss Wright. Besides, I don't think an interior design magazine would be interested in who harassed who this week. Unless it has something to do with fighting over tastefully arranged furniture. But even then, I don't think our readers will be too interested.
Oh, dearie. You've got a lot to learn. You really have no idea how a single tattle can ignite a spark in a crowd. Of course, at the end of the day, it's still the thought that counts. It's still a lovely anniversary gift for my husband. No matter. Let's just go.
She doesn't wait for an answer and immediately wanders over the car, parked some distance from us. Unsure, I find myself trailing after her. The chauffeur automatically opens the passenger door as she nears, and she gestures for me to follow when she climbs into the back seat.
To where are we going exactly?
I need to get out of this stuffy house for a while. Moving in, planning the party. It's starting to get suffocating in there. Luke and Hansi can have their fun while I'm gone. I don't care. I'm getting up because I can. Another minute in there and I'll drown.
My bike.
There are, of course, a lot of things questionable about her invitation. Why she's asking a person she has hardly known for less than 2 days in the first place is one. How appropriate this is being another. But the rest of it crashes the moment she shoots me an imploring look.
Please? I can have someone send it back to your address later. And it's just a trip to the city for some furniture, nothing more, I assure you. Marianne will be with us, and maybe you can tell me why you're here on the way.
Guess it wouldn't hurt. Might have to leave early, though.
Excellent, then. Hop in. That's what they often say, yes?
Yeah. This can't be a good idea, but I really don't have any other choice, do I? No, you don't. You made your cake, now you must sleep in it. In my pocket, the very picture of her remains faces. A voiceless shadow hanging threateningly between us, unknown to her. If someone told me I'd be spending my entire morning being dragged around half downtown Luxembourg looking for furniture, I probably would have simply smiled at them. And perhaps even given them a good friendly pat on the shoulder and wish them a nice day. Not that I find anything wrong with this at all. On the contrary, this is most definitely a nice change of pace after weeks of getting bogged down by several freelance gigs and shutting myself inside my apartment whenever I can. Only the weather would be a whole lot nicer in this kind of less sun and more clouds spread. With the mid-sorting sun slowly beating down on us, high noon approaches, I can see why Mr. Wright skipped out on this trip. The bright side is the whole thing seems to have put Mrs. Wright in a less somber mood. After the fifth store, the pace is considerably livelier, her gestures less guarded than the one she displayed at the mansion earlier. The presence of another person might have helped as well. Although Miss McCullough seems less predisposed to small talk, preferring to keep herself most of the time and let Mrs. Wright lead us wherever. She did acknowledge me with a small nod when we were introduced earlier. That didn't make standing outside together any less awkward while we wait for the client to finish her inquiry inside.
So, interior design, huh?
She cast me a sidelong glance before returning to her notes again, her pen scratching faintly against the paper in quick successive strokes. There goes that. Yeah, you at least try, though. She doesn't look bad. Up again. Except what we have here is just Luxembourg and its busy streets. People going on about their daily normal, cars moving in and out of sight, heading to who knows where. Nothing remarkable, really. The ease with which a person can fade into the background here is reflected what kind of city Luxembourg will always be. But the humdrum is one thing I've learned to live with. Needless to say, it doesn't usually stay that way. There are times when it come alive, make itself known, and reassert itself back to the world. However, those moments are few and far in between. Then again, with what graces the news channel lately, I'm starting to think it's going to happen sooner. I can't say I'm looking forward to what it'll bring.
Luxury living, is it?
Her voice effectively cuts through my thoughts, just as I count 13th passerby wearing a hat today. Besides me, I can hear the faint rustling of paper and clicking of her pen as she stashes them back to her bag.
Excuse me, what?
The magazine you're working for. It's Luxury Living, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've been featured by them before, I take it?
A few years back, yes. For just some issues. My designs still appear from time to time, though not as frequent as before. Gotta have room for new talents, right?
May I show her face with the pride is evident in her voice.
Good folks, the people running the publication. Tell me, is DK still on the editorial team?
I wouldn't know. I've only started taking jobs from them this year. Freelancer, you know.
Good man, that guy. Anyone in our field should meet him. He had a lot of things to say about art, all of them relevant. Learned a lot from him, actually, even if we both came from two different fields. I hope he's in a good place. I haven't talked to him in a while. Anyway, your portfolio must have been good if they gave you the job. They don't easily assign big features to freelancers like this.
I wouldn't say I am, but experienced, you know? The more you practice it, the more you learn the tricks of the trade. That kind of stuff.
I know what you mean. Still, you've got to keep up with the competition. Each year, a new talent emerges, and, well, you never know. Clients can be a bit fickle-minded with their choices. Believe me. Speaking of, do you think you'd be up for a new client after this?
I think so. Depends on how big the project is.
She reaches into her bag again. Oh, yeah, I don't think she's... That's another thing. I don't think Mary Ann's actually seen the ghost yet either.
When you're free, send your portfolio to Chris. He's my assistant. He's been looking for a decent photographer to help with updating the studio's portfolio. Nothing urgent, but the sooner the better.
Not sure if I'll have the time to squeeze this in. But, alright, I'll give it a go once.
Marianne, could you look this over for me?
Three moments right approach the store. I look back to Miss McCall and mask of professionalism has returned to her. Or at least that's what it's trying to be. There's a different light in her eyes when she faces her flicker of familiarity and recognition. I'd say it's fondness, but that word would be too presumptuous. I guess she swing that way. I don't blame her. Hannah's actually very, very, very pretty.
Definitely. Is there a problem?
They said they don't have the colors you suggested. Do you think we can change it around for a bit? It might take a while if we insist what we want, and you know I'd rather not worry about this later.
I think it'd be better if I handle this one myself. Excuse me.
Hey, we have an opportunity to be alone with her. Now we can show her the picture where she's getting possessed. Because that's totally a perfectly chill conversation. She smiles, a bemused little thing spreading across her face, and waves the card in front of me. I wish she'll do that more often. The smiling thing. It suits her more than the other one. She frequently shows to the media.
I look away, and the next thing I know, you're picking up women. On the streets, while the sun is high, no less. I'm not sure if I should be appalled or amazed. Whatever happened to the Zach I met a day ago? About as tall as you. Photographer. Quite the gentleman. To tell you the truth, I'm a bit disappointed he's gone.
It ain't like that, Miss Wright. And I'm sure Miss McCullough's not the kind of woman to let herself be picked up by strangers, let alone people she barely knows.
Oh, shush. Let me have my fun. And didn't I say you can call me Hannah?
She gives the card back to me no less, and with it her mood fades to a more pensive one. So what's she so thoughtful of? An odd look settles on her face, yearning a bit wistful, and she looks back toward the shop's display window. There's nothing remotely interesting in it for me, but I follow her line of sight though. few trinkets here and there, a fur robe, a sofa, a wooden side table, and a lamp, all tastefully picked up and arranged to resemble a typical antique living room. On second thought, it does look comfortable. But why they added a crib beside it baffles me. Unless, of course, the people there hoping the market already have children or about to have one, then maybe it is fitting. Peculiar choice of decoration size, it does make one for a nice icebreaker if it's not on the same level of weird and completely out of the blue. It still leagues better than the awkward silence, which is definitely out of character for a personality like Miss Hana's.
Oh, I think that one looks cute.
Hana bonks to my surprise, shuffling 2 steps away from the window, and glares at it with such vehemence as if I did something remotely scandalous. Funny sight when taken out of context, and I probably will be laughing, but outlandishly warranted such a reaction.
I wasn't looking at the crib.
I wasn't really talking about the crib, Hana.
Very good then. But it wasn't the crib, all right.
Why are
I
you
get you,
embarrassed?
but that's not it. Honest. I was just saying the stuff that was on display there looks nice. Or at least as nice that it can be compared to the ones we visited earlier. But I'm sure your interior designer has something different in mind for your mansion, so don't mind me.
I was hoping that would be enough to cut the topic short. Instead, she sighs and leans on the wall close to her and runs her hands through the lock of her hair. There is a far-flung look in her eyes, even as she fixes the concrete curve.
You need to stop looking at people like that, sweetie.
I'm afraid I don't quite catch your drift, ma'am.
I suppose you wouldn't be aware of it. Do you know you always carry this kind of phase? Like you're always staring at the world with this honest look. Like all there is to see is all the good in it.
Frankly, I don't see anything wrong if it's like that. I mean, there always has to be something in it. You know, a sprinkle of kindness here and there. Otherwise, we'd all be miserable.
For you, maybe. Some people have to fight through it just to see that. And kindness isn't always a great thing to have around. Sometimes too much of it can hurt.
It makes you wonder where this is coming from, how bad things have really gone for her to have this view. I do understand her sentiment, really I do. Still, when it's the last thing you can cling to when things have gone irreversibly bad, sometimes you simply don't get to make a choice.
Besides, the point is, it's impossible to lie when a person is looking at you like that. Or I could, but I'd feel like a horrible person afterwards. Did you hear that, Mr. Zack? You just made me feel like a horrible person. I sort of wish I had one like it. Just so people would stop lying to my face.
Or you can start by being honest with yourself. It shouldn't be quite hard. Friends don't lie to each other, don't they?
I guess so.
So what was the lie?
That it was really the crib I was looking at earlier, silly. You're right, Uncle Zack. It's cute, but the pattern's not to my taste. I'm pretty sure Marianne could do something about that, though. At the moment, what I should really be worried about is if I'm ever going to be a good mother to this child. Mad! I can't even tell the father he's going to be one in a few months' time. Probably doesn't even want anything to do with this whole pregnancy thing. What am I going to do, Zack? Because right now, I'm absolutely at a loss.
Oh. Oh!
Elizabeth strikes me with tons of bricks suddenly bearing down on me. For some reason, that word there reminds me of the children above.
Don't look so surprised, dearie. Tied the knot 7 years ago, remember? Don't you think it's bound to happen? At least that's what they've been saying early on. My whole social circle would be saying it's a long time coming.
But the kid is something you want, right? Because if it ain't, then that's a whole other problem.
Of course. I wouldn't deny I've been hoping to have him or her for a long time now. But then, now that we're here, all of a sudden, there are a whole lot of other things to be worried about. Business, a new home, public image, my own husband, and I don't know. I didn't really have anyone for a role model. I practically grew up with nursemaids pampering me every step of the way. What if it happens to this baby as well?
Well, just spend more time with your own
I can
child.
already see how this will end.
Just spend time with your child!
I guess it's not just my sister.
What?
You and my sister. I mean, you're both having jitters or something like that. That's what it's called, right? First baby jitters? Mind you, she was really convinced she'd do everything wrong then. He even called me in the middle of the night. Asked to switch places the day she found out she's carrying a new member of the family. Never mind how utterly impossible her request is.
I'm quite sure I haven't done anything of that sort yet.
Oh, you don't know that? My brother-in-law has been telling me things 5 weeks into my sister's pregnancy. Said she's one cranky pregnant lady. Man, good thing I found a place for myself years before that bundle of joy arrived, huh?
It can't be that awful.
Who knows? I think we'd better leave it for Mr. Right to decide, yeah?
Provided he comes around. He just sounds so repulsed every time the idea is brought up.
Then maybe you should say it to his face. No mincing of words or beating around the bushes.
And
Gonna have to
if he says
eventually.
no,
He's a
You
dick.
haven't even told him yet. Besides, that's his kid. Don't people usually say fatherhood changes men? I wouldn't call myself a living testament, of course, but there ought to be something that will hit him in that idea alone.
a wrecking ball would be nice.
Well, whatever it is, my point is, you've got no idea what will happen. In the same way, you don't know if you'll be a good mom. Trust
Good
me,
advice.
my sister's been there. It's perfectly normal. If, my opinion matters, though, I think you'll be a great mother, Hannah.
Everything's been taken care of for tomorrow, Mrs. Wright. We'll have everything you requested delivered
I
early.
think I'm getting sleepy.
I've left them
really
instructions, but I may have to visit again right
responding
before your
much.
housewarming party to check for a few things. I hope that's acceptable to you.
More than Marianne. This is a little early to say, but you did marvelous work with the mansion. I can't wait to see all of it come together tomorrow.
I'm only doing my job, ma'am. Needless to say, it's always a pleasure to hear a client is satisfied with my work.
Nonsense! You have every reason to be proud. I know you've already established your name here, but I'll still make sure word gets out, of course. I think I've got a few friends who might be interested in decorating their homes. I'll see if I can introduce you to them tomorrow.
I really don't want to impose, Mrs. Wright. There's still a lot to be done, and I'd rather be keeping an eye on it myself.
You know well enough I'll still do it. You too, Monsieur le Photographe. You better be the one taking the pictures for the event tomorrow, or I'll be very upset.
I blink at her, confused. Last I checked, I have nothing scheduled on my plate tomorrow. A couple of fleeting thoughts did cross my mind, like working on personal projects. But with the expectant expression on Hannah's face alone, I wondered for how they get Isabel to sell the mansion and how the paperwork gets the loop has to go through. But now the how is already standing in front of me, and it's one giant ball of persuasion in human form. If I have any doubts she got her own life, all of them are dispelled right this instant. Hannah hasn't said anything yet, but I already know what my answer will be.
What event?
Our housewarming party, dearie. I've already sent invites through your publisher. They should have informed you of it by now.
I may have probably missed it. I haven't gotten the chance to check my mailbox yet. Deadlines, real life happenings, they can be pretty hectic. I'll try later, but they might have already assigned it to a different photographer if they haven't received my reply yet.
That's not a problem. Nothing a little call from me can't fix. I'll have them know I'm specifically requesting for your presence. It shouldn't be too hard. Just promise me you'll show up. I expect to see you both there. No excuses.
Good company, good music, good food. Of course I'll be there.
Lovely. I hope we have that settled then. I'd love to stay and chat, but unfortunately I have an appointment scheduled with the doctors after this. You two will have to excuse me.
Are you feeling fine, ma'am?
It's nothing big.
In a short while in her hand, faintly touches her stomach when she says this. Her smile as she does, a tender thing in itself. She might never let it cross her mind that motherhood would suit her. The kid is already loved, even when he or she is yet to have a sense of the world. Candid moments like this, I wish I had brought a camera.
Sorry we had to cut this short.
What the hell
I'd
happened
love
to
to
your
have
arm
lunch
there?
with you two, but, well, you two know how it goes.
It's quite fine, Mrs. Wright. I need to get going as well.
Is it somewhere far from here? I can have my driver drop you off on the way.
No, please. There's no need for that, Mrs. Wright. It's just within the city.
I see. What about you, Zach? We did leave your push bike at the mansion. Don't worry, I'll have someone bring it to your home later.
Nah, I live within the city too. A few blocks from here, in fact. I only visited earlier because...
Photos.
Because Zach, sweetie, you're zoning out.
Miss Hana, earlier at the mansion.
Well, this is a good one to save.
I think it would be better if you take a look at these yourself.
Well, let's see how this works out. Seeing is believing, right? Always, right? I reach into my pocket and pull out the photos, handing everything to her. Recognition flickers across her eyes when she reaches for them. I have to stamp down the tiny twinge of regrets in my stomach for having the gall to show it to her. Only it cuts deeper the instant both her and the scholar expression changes. And it's not a good look. To say she's repulsed would be a total understatement. I mean, honestly, if someone handed me a picture of me and my face was distorted in such a way, I would be very, very worried too. Music definitely adds something.
Zach, dearie, what is this?
Your photos, the ones you requested copies of. I mean, they came out that way, and I thought you should know.
Oh, I get it. You know, I've heard before that artists can be a bit weird. Have you ever gotten that kind of comment, Marianne?
Not in my line of work, I'm afraid. Or ever, Mrs. Wright. I'd rather keep my personal hobbies away from my actual work. Less stress that way.
Well, I suppose it just never crossed my mind that the saying applies to you as well, Zach. But talent's what's important, As long as you make good art, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, that's... You see, when we had that photo shoot yesterday, there was something.
I wouldn't say I don't appreciate it. I did ask for copies, darling. But would it be possible for you to give me normal-looking ones? Preferably with my head intact. I admire the effort you took to edit this, though. It looks authentic. Frankly, if I show this to some other person, they'd probably believe those silly rumors about the mansion.
Miss, I didn't edit anything.
Good publicity, but not the kind I'd want for my new home. So please... If you could redo this, that would be wonderful. I'm positive you can do a better job than the one you just showed. Just try to keep the edits to a minimum,
Yeah, I can, sure.
You can take your time, of course. And speaking of time, I really must go.
Okay.
should have thought of that first.
That's one thing. Church isn't supposed to be about being pious or religious. It's supposed to be about helping people. And about community and caring about one another.
Unless someone does that inside a church. I highly doubt it.
So this place was donated by the original owners of that mansion like 400 years ago, which means this is a very old church. It also means if the house is haunted, maybe the church is haunted? Oh right, she did. Oh. A couple to bless their new home, right. I remember that. Oh.
Stay away.
Yeah? His voice comes out of, but the tremor is there. Copious amounts of sweat appearing on his forehead despite the relative coolness of the place. Yeah? I wonder why.
Keep your distance.
Hey, it's me, Zach, remember?
Stay away. Don't come near me.
It must be the fever talking or whatever he's caught. It has to be. I don't recall ever doing anything to drive me away like this. In all the years I've known him, he's been nothing but polite, nothing but accepting of people regardless of belief or status in life. Yeah, it's totally not the thing on your back. For words akin to a threat to come out of him, but simply beyond unimaginable.
Go back to where you came from. Leave.
Father, what did I do?
Leave now.
I extend a hand to his shoulder meant to be reassuring. But he recoils, his ankle catching on the edge of the dais as he backs away. His shout when I attempt to reach out again echoes through the entire hall, catching the attention of the few people inside. I try to keep a level tone, but these strangers' eyes train on us. Panic starts to weave its way into me.
Stay away, demon. Go back to the hell you came from.
Father, it's okay. I only came here for some pictures I thought looked odd. I figured you might know something.
From my pocket, I fish out the photos and try to hand it to him. Instead, he strikes my wrist almost like an accusation, and sends the photographs fluttering uselessly to the floor. Helpless, I can only watch as he curls into himself on the ground, a sad, blubbering mess whimpering to himself. He tips his head forward and begins rocking, his hands clapped over his ears.
That accursed spirit, so full of anger and pain. All those horrible things I've seen. I can't sleep. I can't eat everywhere I look. Go away. Go away. Go away. You're not supposed to be here. This is a house of God. Be gone, demon. Lord have mercy, God our Lord, King of ages, all-powerful and almighty. You who made everything and transform everything simply by your will.
A number of people move closer, mostly just to gawk. Well, curiosity is probably their most understandable trait. I think it was Kurama in Yu Yu Hakusho said, the most unusual thing about when the hospital had an explosion happen is that there weren't people crowded everywhere to look. Which means if people aren't coming to see, there's a reason they can't. It's because they're dead.
May he keep at bay and vanquish every evil power, every poison or malice invoked against us by corrupt and envious people. Then under the protection of your authority may we sing in gratitude.
It rings, hums in me as I'm left to pick up the pieces of lost chaos. Back to square one we go! If there is salvation in this, I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. You know what? I think I'm going to pause this here. I don't know if you guys are going to see it on your screen or not, but I'm actually going to look up the achievements. Now, on the actual Steam page, the face for the ghost girl actually looks, well, normal. But yeah, what are the achievements? Okay, the achievements I have is this or that, find the letter, can't stop, win a quick time event. Oh, lose a quick time event. Win a quick time event without skipping. D-list horror prop. Too early for Halloween. Consult with the professor about the mansion. Words unsaid. Employee. That might be a good employee. Go to work. Bad blood. Photographer. Real Talk asked for Marianne's honest advice about marriage. Meet an old friend at the housewarming party. Cat fight. Right where it belongs. Safe haven. Let a friend stay over for the night. Share a painful memory to a friend. Hearty meal. Have lunch with Ashton and Bella. Praise a picture. Show the photographs to Hannah. It's me, Father. Pay a visit to Norman. Okay. The rest of the achievements read: Don't blink. May his house be blessed. Bless the Army God Man. Slumber party. Open up to Rebecca about what happened in the mansion. Previous cinnamon roll. Receive cinnamon rolls. Free hugs. No jaywalking. FWD. Isabella. Discover all endings for Chapter 1. Okay, so each person's a chapter. FWD. Discover all endings for Chapter 1. Unlock a memory fragment. How have I not unlocked any memory fragments? What have I missed? Wheel and Woe. Complete Chapter 1. Drama Llama. It takes two to tango. It's not you okay, it's you. Love Me Dead. Safe Hands. Resist the mansion's influence. Discover all endings for Chapter 2 for Hannah. Complete. Read all branches in Chapter 2. Just get here, please. Receive an alarming phone call from Ash. Falcon Punch. Hang in there. No hard feelings. Need some advice from the professor. Consult the professor about the photographs. Huh. Hello, mister. Nightly visit. Nightmares just won't. Curiosity kills the cat. Be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, whatever that's going to be, we're going to die. What beautiful eyes you have. Get a visit from Hannah. Oh, you poor dear. Keep looking for Ashton. FWD. Zachary. Discover all endings for Chapter 3. How many are there? Sing the blues. The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am. Godlike, oh God, fuck me. I like it. What? What? What kind of quote is that? There's an achievement that says godlike. And it has underneath it in quotations, like, oh God, fuck me. I like it. What? Cock blocked. Say no to a night of sexual congress. Okay, so godlike must be you say yes. Who are we going to fuck? And I don't even know who character is Chapter 4. Ash? Probably Ash. Prank gone wrong. Swimming in cocktails. In alcohol there is truth and drunken ramblings. Behind closed doors, explore the deepest corners of the mansion. Together at last. Goodbye, my first love. Grow up, kid. Give a piece of advice to the younger you. Pop quiz. Meet a fellow nerd. Peeping Mary Ann. Listen to Luke and Hannah's private conversation. Thick as thieves. What is forbidden is the most tempting. Remember me. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Oh, FYID. Discover all endings. Chapter 4. That's Mary Ann. So Chapter 4 is Mary Ann. Read all branches. Chapter 4. Memory collector. Daredevil. Win 4 QuickTime events in normal difficulty without skipping. Back when there's only the two of us. The diary. Into the meat grinder. Nuts and bolts. Teach the pompous bastard a lesson he'll never forget. What? Lend a shoulder to cry on. A truth long held. The bigger person. Own up to your mistake and apologize. Dinner date. Maybe next time. One step closer. Artist's secret. Discover Isabel's sketch pad. Nothing but memories. Reminisce the beginning of a friendship. Pull the plug. Justice for Zach. Defend a friend from a bully. TLDR. Stop sulking. Give Luke unsolicited advice. Buried history. Dig deeper into the Emmergard's mansion's past. Quick escape. Get out of the library before it's too late. Too late for what? One thing's constant. Too little, too late. Okay. F. Discover all endings of Chapter 5. Rebecca. Okay, so she's the 5th person. Easiest way and find a way into the BRC with the help of a friend. Half-baked knowledge. Get into the BRC on your own. A shoulder to cry on. Listen to Isabella's grief. Fall from grace. Safe and sound. Ensure that your friends are safe and accounted for. A change of heart. Paradigm shift. Receive a wake-up call from From an unlucky person, death knell. Snitching letters. Retrieve the letter before heading out. Prison break. Requiescat in peace. Offer a prayer for the deceased. A broken spirit. Reject the voices whispering inside your head. Walls in the night. Throughout the hollowed halls, hear her voice rings. Late bloomer. Be saved by the person you least expect. Narrow escape. Get out of a tricky situation by a hair's breadth. A bitter pill. In the end, unable to do anything. Out of lines then. Little thieves are hanged, but great ones escaped. Swallow your pride. There are more important things no matter how much you hate his guts. In his last breath. Beast mode. Win all quick time events without skipping a normal mode. Take it easy. Win all quick times without skipping an easy mode. FWD. Ashton. Discover all endings for Chapter 6. Ashton. Okay. And we have Glimmer of Hope. Grim Reaper. The morgue is going to be very busy this week. They might make it out of this alive. From cradle to grave, we would have been so beautiful. Lulled asleep, hush my darling, don't say a word. Smashed drunk, have a taste of famous multi-dimensional wine. What? Slutty Hannah. Whores in a Bach. Okay. This next achievement doesn't have a description. It just has a face made with text marks. That's very weird. And then it says, sample Hannah's yummy pie. And we have a life for life. Bargain for the safety of another. In living memory. Small talk. Trick of the eye. See a shadow lurking in the balcony, or is there? One big happy family. Soul fist. Feel the brunt of Hannah's power? What? Are we getting like a dragon fist from Goku? Critical hit. Marianne has successfully rolled for initiative. What? Mighty Falcon Punch. Still Falcon Punch, but better. A cold welcome. Together forever till death do us part. Dusk to dawn. Bye, bitches. There's actually an achievement called Bye, bitches. Piecing up the past. Unlock all memory fragments. FWD Luke. Discover all endings for Chapter 7. So, Chapter 7, we get to play as Luke. Then we have all that for those who live to tell the tale, hanging by a thread, through thick and thin. In the end, something far more valuable has been taken. For those, despite what they lost, there's still one thing that endures. Saving your hide. Abandon an already sinking ship. Beyond the veil, some still claim to hear voices within, of cries and wails that flail the night. Good night, sweet princess. When ignorance becomes a blessing. There's so many achievements! Dwindling hope. Optimism is the only thing they can hold on to. Raving mind. Even to this day, you can still hear the screams inside your head. Raving mad, it's what it says. Jaded and shattered. Choose a quiet life away from the rush and excitement you've dreamed of. Her own woman. Find your feet and stand on your own after years of living in the shadow of someone else. In the depths of sorrow, despite your strength, you know things will never be the same again. Drown out the voices of the gruesome memories still linger in your head. The good days come far between now. Annoy, you have everything you've ever wanted in life, but at what cost? His pride and joy. For the first time in a long while, there is contentment. Ever and a day, they are happy and no one can fault them for it. This above all, anyone who sees them together won't deny seeing a different spark in their eyes. Strange bedfellows, whether it's friendship, it will eventually grow into something more, only time can tell. When worlds collide, find comfort in the last person you expect to receive it from. A long time coming, after everything they've gone through, this is a respite they both deserve. Together. Heartstrong. Theirs isn't a story that stores, but one sung in hushed whispers and quiet proclamations. An FYD letter. Unlock all achievements of the game. And then there's one called the real letter. There's another one, and I agree with that quotation. Like, there is another one. Then we have Shattered Fairy Tale, and then it says there's 12 hidden achievements that I apparently don't get to know about yet. Interesting. Well, back to this. What time do we have on this? 1:40. I should probably stop. I have to go to the bathroom again anyway. Hope everyone had a good day. Bye.